Yo, what is good people? Ben from Lover of Tech, and we are back with another video. This time it's of a camera comparison. The Google Pixel 7 versus the Galaxy S22. And we are going to test it in daylight, low light for all the photos and videos and see how the performance is like. Without wasting much time, let's get into the main camera comparison. Let's do a quick breakdown of the camera hardware and specs, starting with the Google Pixel 7. It does have a 50 megapixel main sensor and a 12 megapixel ultra wide and a 10.8 megapixel selfie. And with the Galaxy S22, you do have a 50 megapixel main sensor, a 10 megapixel 3x zoom, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide, as well as a 10 megapixel selfie. There will be chapters in the description below, and the best way to watch this camera comparison is in the highest resolution in 4K and with headphones for the audio. With that out of the way, let's get into the main camera comparison. So we are now on the selfie camera, starting in 4K UHD 60 frames a second, and we're basically just testing how the image quality, the stabilization is like. Quick run. We've now dropped it down to 4K UHD, 30 frames a second, seeing how the image quality is like, video stabilization, the colors, dynamic range. It is quite an overcast day, but we'll see if there's any difference in the image quality there. Quick run. We've now stepped down to 1080p, 30 frames a second, but the difference is what you're seeing right now. As you can see that on the selfie camera, you do have video portrait mode active on the Galaxy S22, whereas you can't do the video portrait mode or the cinematic blur on the selfie camera on the Pixel 7, as it is limited to just the main rear camera. So we are now in 4K UHD 30 frames per second video recording mode, and pretty much just seeing how it performs when it comes to the landscape images, video stabilization, dynamic range, colors and detail. Quick run. Let's switch to the ultra wide on both. 0.7 on the Pixel 7 and 0.6 on the Galaxy S22. Quick run. Now, both do allow you to pause the recording on the same clip and continue, as well as take pictures. But the Galaxy S22 does allow you to switch to the selfie camera as well. As you can see, very useful and still offers the most seamless video recording in 4K UHD 30 frames a second. So we are now recording in 4K UHD 60 frames per second video recording mode on the main camera sensor, and just seeing how the image quality, stabilization, colors and detail are like between the two. Quick run. Now the Pixel 7 does have an ace up its sleeve, where while recording in 4K UHD 60 frames a second on the same clip, you don't need to stop recording to switch to the other lens. So, still in 4K 60, the S22 can record in 4K 60 on the ultra wide, but you have to stop it and start again and switch. But the S22 also does have its own ace up its sleeve, where you can switch to the selfie camera. Still in 4K 60 on the same clip. And we're back to the main sensor. Again, still continue on the same clip. And we're going to test the ultra wide to see how they both compare. So we are in 4K UHD 60 frames a second, but now we've switched to the ultra wide, and both haven't stopped recording and switching to the ultra wide for the Galaxy S22. And again, just seeing how the image quality, stabilization, colors and detail is like. Quick run. So we've now switched to the active video stabilization and the super stable on both the Pixel 7 and the S22, limited to 1080p. Now the Galaxy S22 can actually do it at 1080p, 60 and 30 frames a second, works on the ultra wide and the 1x main sensor as well. Whereas the Pixel 7 is limited to just the ultra wide, and you can crop in ×2 and it's still on the ultra wide. We're going to do a serious one and see how the stabilization compares. So same stabilization mode, and we're just basically seeing in the 1x mode if the quality changes for the Galaxy S22. Quick run. So we are now recording in 4K UHD 30 frames a second, and this is on the rear camera. We're starting on the main camera sensor and basically seeing how the image quality is like with me in the frame, and then just seeing how the colors and the dynamic range work with it as well. So we're going to switch to the ultra wide, and you're probably going to see the difference in the change of field of view. And again, just seeing how the image quality is like in 4K 30 on both the phones on the ultra wide. We are now recording in a 4K 60 frames per second video recorder mode. Again, just seeing how the image quality is like, the detail and just the colors, especially with me in the frame as the subject. We're starting on the main camera, but what you're going to notice is that the Pixel 7 does allow you to switch to the ultra wide when you're recording in 4K 60 without stopping recording. So that's a nice trick that it offers a very seamless 4K 60 recording. And we're going to switch back to the main. We are in 4K 60 frames per second on the ultra wide now, just seeing how the image quality compares on both. So we are now in the video portrait mode and the cinematic blur for the Pixel 7 and the Galaxy S22. Both are limited to 1080p. You've got 30 frames per second on the Galaxy S22 and 24 frames per second on the Pixel 7. Let's just see how the difference is like. The Pixel 7 is limited to just the main camera lens, while you can actually do it on the zoom on the Galaxy, which will showcase that in a different clip. So we are in 4K UHD 30 frames per second on the rear camera on both the Pixel 7 and the Galaxy S22. You're just seeing how the low light image quality is like. Let's switch to the ultra wide. To the main. Now we are in the 4K UHD 30 frames per second selfie video recording mode. Again, just seeing how the low light image is like. Let's start things off with the daylight photos, kicking things off with the landscape images. With the ultra wide, the Galaxy S22 definitely has a more vibrant image, while the Pixel 7 has a more balanced neutral image with more shadow detail. This carries over to be the same and consistent on both phones when we move over to the main wide sensor with great detail on both. In the 2x mode, the Pixel 7 does retain more information with better processing compared to the 2x on the S22. Since the Galaxy S22 does have a dedicated 3x zoom lens, it does outperform the 3x digital zoom on the Google Pixel 7. The last set of landscape shots further shows the same consistency as before, with a more vibrant image on the Galaxy S22 and better shadows on the Pixel 7 with a more neutral color. The big difference will be in the extended zoom ranges at 3x and beyond, as the Galaxy S22 does have a dedicated 3x optical zoom lens that can digitally zoom up to 30x. Let's move over to the selfie, And in this case, the Pixel 7 overall does a better job with a more accurate and consistent representation of my skin tones and colors, but I would say that the overall detail is better on the S22. Both have the option of a wider field of view for the selfie, with the Pixel 7 fitting more into the frame thanks to a wider field of view. When looking at portrait mode, in terms of edge detection, consistency and blur, the Galaxy S22 is much better, even though the skin tones and colors are more accurate on the Pixel 7. Final daylight images with the rear cameras with me as the subject. On a main wide sensor, I do overall prefer the final image coming from the Pixel 7. In terms of exposure and dynamic range on the ultra wide, the Pixel 7 is overall doing a better job, even though the Galaxy S22 does have a wider field of view. When looking at portrait mode, you can see the Galaxy S22 nails it when it comes to edge detection and background blur compared to the Pixel 7, and considering it does have a 3x lens for portrait mode, it does offer better compression compared to the 2x mode on the Pixel 7. Let's take a look at some low light images, starting with the landscape shots with the ultra wide. Both do struggle, but the Pixel 7 does overall have better detail and exposure. The main wide sensor still favors the Pixel 7 with less noise and minimal color shift. In this extreme low light situation, without night mode active, both ultra wide are not usable, but the Pixel 7 does have slightly better exposure. The main wide sensor swings back in favor of the Galaxy S22 ever so slightly with better exposure. Night mode, of course, is the difference maker, with the ultra wide on both becoming much more usable with slightly better exposure on the Google Pixel 7. This carries over to be the same on the main wide sensor, but you could say the Galaxy S22 does retain a more nighttime look. With the low light selfies, I captured in the normal mode, then with night mode active, then with the front screen flash, and I did the same with portrait mode as well. In this case, both did a great job, but I do overall prefer the performance of the low light selfies overall on the Google Pixel 7. Last set of low light images with the rear cameras with me as the subject. With night mode active on the main wide sensor, the Google Pixel 7 does have better colors with a more balanced exposure, with the Galaxy S22 keeping better focus and detail. When moving to the ultra wide, there is a slight color shift on the skin tones on the Pixel 7 compared to the S22, but it is still overall more accurate. For portrait mode, the Galaxy S22 does have a wider field of view on the main wide sensor and a more consistent detail when it comes to edge detection. I still do prefer the final look of the Pixel 7 thanks to the better colors and processing even in the zoomed 2x mode. Let's summarize the video performance, starting with the front-facing camera. The Galaxy S22 overall keeps better detail and does have the option of shooting video portrait mode on a selfie camera, which is not available on the Google Pixel 7. I would say though that the overall colors and stabilization is still better on the Google Pixel 7 for the front-facing camera. For the rear video performance, I'm definitely impressed to see that the Google Pixel 7 allows for a seamless video recording experience in 4K 60 by allowing you to switch between the wide and the ultra wide without having to stop recording and stay on the same clip, being one of the first smartphones to allow this. The Galaxy S22 still does overall offer the most seamless video recording experience, especially in 4K 30, by allowing you to switch to the selfie while still recording on the same clip. In terms of the overall final image quality, the Galaxy S22 does edge out the Pixel 7 overall. In terms of the audio performance from the microphone, both are excellent, and with speech enhancement working in more recording modes including the rear cameras, the Google Pixel 7 does have slightly better noise suppression on the background while keeping a clear sound. That is it with this ultimate camera comparison between the Google Pixel 7 versus the Samsung Galaxy S22. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's it for me, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, you know exactly what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.
Your flow is like